Hi everyone, we are in chapter 3, and in this session we will start to know more about algebraic fractions. So how to search for the equivalent fraction and how to reduce a fraction to its simplest form, and what about adding or subtracting fractions. So first of all, when we seek to search for the equivalent of a given fraction or algebraic fraction, so it is easy to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So if we multiply the numerator and the denominator with the same number, we'll obtain one of its equivalent fraction. And it is the same with algebraic fraction. What the difference between fraction and fraction? In general, we say fraction, so we have a number over a number. Also, algebraic fraction, we have a term with numerical part in pronumeral over numerical part in pronumeral. So normally, if we multiply both numerator and numerator with the same number or with the same terms, with the same algebraic terms, we will obtain an equivalent one. What about reducing fraction to its simplest form? When we want to reduce a fraction in general, we search for its highest common factor. So the highest common factor of what? Of both numerator and denominator. So it is easy. So it is easy to, for example, know, for example, 9, it is like 3 squared, and 15, it is like 3 by 5. So it is a 3 power 1 by 5 power 1. So it is easy to know or to search for the HCF. Okay, the highest common factor is each factor with the lowest exponent. We have a 3 squared and we have a 3. So normally it is a 3 power 1. We have a x, we have a x. So normally it is x. We have a y, we don't have y. So we take y power 0. So normally the highest common factor is 3x. So we simplify or we divide or we simplify from the numerator 3x and the denominator 3x to obtain 3y over 5. More clarification about adding or subtracting fractions. So as a step 1, first of all, we search when we want to add or subtract two fractions. So we search for the lowest common denominator. The lowest common denominator or multiple of the denominators only, 3a, 5a. So normally the first denominator is a 3a. So it is a 3 power 1, a power 1. 5 is 5 power 1, a power 1. The highest. So we know it is clear that in the first denominator we don't have a 5, but we have a 5 power 0 because each factor with exponent 0 equal to 1. And it is clear that in the second denominator we don't have a 3, we have a 3 power 0. So normally these are in detail the two denominators. So when searching for their LCD, the lowest common multiple between them, so we take the common factor with the highest exponent. We have a 3, 0, 1. So we take a 3 power 1. We have a power 1, a power 1. So we take a power 1 as a common. We have a 5 power 0 and 5 power 1. So we take a 5. So the LCD is a 3 by 5 by a equal to 15a. So 15a, first of all, we change each factor. We search for the equivalent of each fraction with the LCD as denominator. So normally 3a to obtain 15a from 3a, we multiply by 5, and we should be aware of and to ensure that we multiply both numerator and denominator with 5 to obtain an equivalent fraction to 2 over 3a, and the same for the second fraction. And So normally we replace each fraction that we want to add with its equivalent with the same LCD in the denominator. And finally, we add the numerators and we keep the same denominator 15a. So let's start with the exercises. And for example, we want to complete the following equivalent fraction. So 2y over 5. How to obtain 15 from 5? We multiply by 3. So normally we multiply by 3 in the numerator. So both numerator and denominator should be multiplied by 3 to obtain equivalent 1. And here it is easy to know that 10y cubed. So from 2 to 10, we multiplied by 5, and y we can obtain, we multiplied by y2 to obtain y cubed. So normally we should multiply by 5y squared. And so similarly, we multiply the numerator 3x by 5y squared to obtain 15xy squared as equivalent square. So we can also complete the rest of these parts or these fractions to assess your information about equivalent fraction. And when we want to simplify or to obtain the simplest form of a fraction, we divide both numerator and denominator with the highest common factor. The highest common factor between 8t and 12, for example, 8 can be written as 2 cubed and 2 cubed t, and the denominator can be written as 2 squared by 3. So the highest common factor is the common factors with the lowest one. So we have a 2 squared only. So 2 squared is 4. So we divide both numerator and denominator by 4 to obtain 2t over 3. Here, the highest common factor is 3y. Okay, so we divide both numerator and denominator by 3y to obtain 4 over 3 as the simplest form or the simplest fraction equivalent to 12y over 9y. Also, you can, for example, find the details about using the HCF of both numerator and denominator in this, for example. And so also easy HCF, the same HCF. What about adding? To add, as we said before, as we explained before, we search for the LCD as I explained before. So it is easy to, for example, find the lowest common denominator. 5, 4. Sorry, was the corruption? Okay. So normally we will complete. So we search for the lowest common denominator for 5 and 4 to obtain 20. We search for the equivalent of each fraction that we have here with a denominator equal to this LCD that we searched before and we found before. Easy also, we multiply both numerator and denominator with the correct factor or the correct value to obtain 20 as denominator. And then we add the two equivalent fractions that we found. Easy to add the numerator, and we keeping the same denominator. So we obtain 31m over 20 because the numerators are like terms, and you can complete the following one by yourself. Easy to assess it, to find the solution. For example, here we have to subtract two algebraic fractions. So we have 6b, 7b as denominators. So 6b is 2 by 3 by b, and 7b is 7 by b. The LCD, normally it is clear that we don't have a 7 in the first denominator, so it is 7 power 0. And in the denominator, we don't have a 2, so 2 times power 0 and 3 power 0. So all these factors are common, and we search for the lowest common denominator, so with the highest lowest with the highest. Normally, we care about the highest exponents. We have a 2 power 0, so first of all 2. 3 power 0 is 3. B is B. 707. So normally the LCD is 2 by 3 by 7 by B equal to 42B. We search for the equivalent, a fraction of each fraction with a with the LCD 42B, with that denominator as 42B, and we subtract the numerator if we have a like term. So like 35 minus 18 equal to 17A, and so on and so on. Easy, easy, easy. What about multiplying two fractions? So we multiply numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. Easy. How about division? How we can divide two fractions? When we want to divide two fractions, so normally it is equal to the first fraction multiplied by the reciprocal of the second one. What we mean by reciprocal of the second fraction? So we can switch between numerator, or we flip up down the fraction, like we have a 3/4, it becomes 4/3, and we multiply easily numerator by denominator, and numerator by numerator, and denominator by denominator, and we can simplify along the process, okay, to obtain what we seek. So these are the important information about reducing equivalent fractions, adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying to algebraic fractions. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.